Hello, and thank you for tuning in. Thank you for taking the time to share this video, watch this video, because it's important today. I want to talk to my sisters. I want to talk to those queens. As I always say, I want to talk to those women that are getting up every day, right now, today, and just making life happen, just taking care of business. Because I want to be part of that journey. I want to be one of those that encourage you, equip you, and empower you to fulfill all your visions, your dreams, and just take care of business. This talk or this chat is interesting because it's personal to me today. It's personal because somebody asked me recently. They say, why do you start all your videos or in your videos with saying it's okay to be okay? And that was interesting to me. They said, it sounds like you don't have trouble. It sounds like, you really can't relate to me because I'm going through some things and you're just saying that it's okay to be okay. And that's not true. Because to be able to say it's okay to be okay is one of the most empowering things that I believe a woman can say to herself. Because when I say that it's okay to be okay, it's giving me permission and giving you the permission to be okay regardless of the situations in your life, regardless of people, regardless of who's not acting right, regardless of what's not going right. It is still okay to be okay. Because when I say that, I'm empowering myself. I'm empowering me and equipping me and enabling me to be able to stand in the face of any trial or situation and say, you won't determine my day. See, you're not truly empowered until you're able to take your power back from situations or from people that try to determine your destiny or determine your day. And so regardless of whether the bills are past due, regardless of whether the kids are acting up, regardless of whether the marriage is on the rocks, regardless of whether you lost the job, regardless of just anything, you could be going through a divorce, whatever it may be today, what you're going through or your situation doesn't determine your state of mind. Because empowering yourself to be okay is determining that's my state of mind. And where do I get that from? What is my basis? What is my foundation of that? What is it that I stand on that allows me to be able to say that regardless of what's going on, it's okay for me to be okay? And I stand on that because of Philippians, the 4th chapter. And later on, you might make note or just go read it for yourself and look at it and let it kind of sink in. Let a revelation hit you regarding your own life. But in Philippians chapter 4, verse number 11 or 12, it says, 11 actually, it says, not that I speak in regard to need, for I've learned in whatever state I am to be content. The writer said, I've learned something. In other words, I've been through something and something has taught me something. When you learn, you take the time to receive information. It means that I learned something that I didn't know before because I can't learn what I already know. So the writer says, I've learned something through all of this. The writer said that I've learned to be content. He said that no matter what my state is, no matter what my situation is, I've learned to be content. And see, that word content means a state of peacefulness. It means a state of peaceful satisfaction. And satisfaction simply means I'm okay. So content means it's okay to be okay. Because he said no matter what I'm in, I'm still okay. He said no matter what state I'm in, I'm okay. He said I can be locked up and I'm okay. He said I can be bound and I'm okay. And he actually says that because the writer says, he says, I know. He said, I know. It's personal. That's why I said this talk is kind of personal to me because I know. When you know something, it means you have an intimate experience with it. It means that I've lived through it. It means I've engaged with it and I've lived through it. It means that I've encountered and I've received what I need to receive. I have intimate knowledge of something. The writer says that I know. He said, I know how to be abased and I know how to be abound. In other words, he says, I know how to be up and I know how to be down. He says, I know how to go through and I know how to come out. He said, I know. He said, I've been on every spectrum, every range of this continuum. He said, I've been on it. He said, I've experienced some things. He said, but yet I'm content. He said, I know how to be abased and I know how to be bound. He said, everywhere and in all things, I've learned. He's mentioned it again. He said, I've learned. He said, I've learned something. He said, I've experienced something that has caused me to learn something. He said, I have learned how to both to be full and to be hungry. In other words, he said, it's not always, everything is not always lined up the way I want it to be. I've been hungry sometimes. He said, but then I've been full. He said, I've been full. He said, I understand it. He said, there's nothing going on that I don't understand. He said, there's he said, I've been full and he said, but I've been hungry too. He said, but I've learned both. He said, I've learned how both to abound and to suffer need. He said, I've learned that how to have it all, but also how to be in need. In other words, what he's trying to say to you is, I've experienced some things. I've had some trials and some tribulations, but I've had some joys and successes. I've failed, but I've succeeded. I've been in, but I've been out. I've been wrong, and I've been right. He said, I've handled, in other words, I've handled life. See, women, you got to be able to recognize that life happens. Life happens. Stuff happens. Corona happened. Things happen. He left you. It happened. The kids are acting up. It happened. Bad doctor's report. It happened. Bills past due. It happened. Job gone. It happened. It happened. There's no denial that life happens. There's no denial that stuff doesn't always go my way. I'm in no way in denial. But when I tell you it's okay to be okay, I'm telling you I'm giving myself permission that in spite of the experience, I'm going to empower myself by allowing myself to be all right, because my situation doesn't determine who I am. The trial will not determine me. The trial will not put a name on me. I am going to be okay regardless of the situations and regardless of people. He said, I've learned how to handle. In other words, I know how to handle it. When I wake up every day, I wake up with the mindset that I can handle it. Don't matter what comes my way, I can handle it. Before it gets here, it's already handled. And that's what a writer is saying. He says, I know that, he said, what I've learned. You see, because you got to ask yourself, well, what did you learn? What did you learn that, what is the writer saying he learned? What did he learn that causes him to tell you that he can be content in whatever the situation is? What causes him to say that even when I'm in pain, I'm content? What causes him to say that even when I'm down, I'm content? What causes him to say that when I'm on top, I'm content? What causes him to say that, when I'm hungry, I'm still content? You ain't even ate yet. You don't have anything to eat. So content says that I'm satisfied. What do you mean that you're satisfied and you have nothing? What is it that you know that we don't know? What is it that you've learned? See, knowledge, learning is simply a knowledge. It's something that I learned that I didn't know. It may be some information that somebody else didn't know, but I learned it. And what the writer tells us that he learned is actually in verse 13. He said, what I've learned is that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. The writer said, what I've learned. He said, what I've come to know because I've lived life. What I've come to know is stuff happens. What I've come to know is trouble don't last always. What I've come to know is that I may be hungry now, but food is on the way. He's saying what I've learned is that no matter what state I'm in, no matter what is going on in my life, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I'm not looking for my situation to strengthen me. I'm not going to wait to be okay when the situation changes. I'm going to be okay because I know that Christ strengthens me. I'm going to be okay because my faith tells me it's going to be all right. It's okay to be okay. It's simply you empowering yourself. You take your power back from a situation. You take your power back from people. It says that no matter what happens, I'm okay because I learned something. See, women, you got to not get caught up in the drama or get caught up in the pain or get caught up in the disappointment. You got to realize that no matter what is going on, as long as if I'm walking with Christ and if Christ is in me, the hope of glory, that it's going to be all right. So therefore, I'm letting the devil know every morning that it's okay to be okay. And by even saying that it's okay, it's saying it's okay to be okay. You don't have to cry. It's okay to be okay. You don't even have to feel guilty about being okay. Because sometimes some people will. Is that everybody's stressed out and everybody, and obviously the person who asked me, how could I say that? They might have felt like, oh, you should feel a little guilty with all this going on and you talking about it's okay to be okay. No, I don't. Yes, I know somebody lost a job. Yes, I know plenty of people that are going through. I pastor a church. I know people in the church got troubles. But I still say it's okay to be okay. Because trouble does not determine my state of mind. It's just like in the book that I wrote some years ago, Saturday Morning Sisterhood. If you don't have this book, you need to get this book. Because this book will get you through any transition in life. But there's a statement in the book that talks about getting better and not bitter. Because if you do not give yourself permission to be okay, you can end up becoming a bitter person. It says the concept of a covert operation can be used as a tool to combat bitterness. Now, I can't go into what I was talking about with a covert operation. It take too long, but it's simply when something is a covert operation, it means that it operates that a strategy is going on that you may be a part of, but you don't know about it. Is that, in other words, God may be up to, you may be in a trial, but God is up to something, and you just don't understand it yet. So he said, we all run the risk of being bitter in life. So you run the risk of being bitter. When you're not okay with being okay, you run the risk of becoming a bitter person because you're going to be mad at situations that you could not change, situations that you could not do anything about. And it says that, and mad at people who you perceive to have inflicted undeserved pain on you. You can go through a divorce and get bitter. You can go through kids acting up and get bitter. You can go through losing a job and get bitter. You can have friends backstab you and get bitter. And that's what happens if you don't tell yourself that regardless of what is going on, I can do this through Christ who strengthens me. We are better able to forgive others and move forward by submitting to the will of God. We must recognize that it was all part of a plan or what God can use for the good. We must not hold up our victory or sabotage our lives by harboring bitterness and unforgiveness in our hearts. Real quickly, what I'm saying to you is that if you don't go ahead and recognize that it's okay to be okay, you can end up being bitter about what you're not okay about. Because not being okay, not being content, not being satisfied, not recognizing that as long as I'm in the will of God, this situation will eventually work out to my favor, you end up becoming a bitter person. And you don't want to do that. You want to get better. And the only way to become better is to look at your situations and forgive your situations. You got to be able to forgive others and move forward and stay in the will of God. And just recognize that this is all within the plan of God. Because otherwise you end up, and I like this part, you end up holding up your own victory. Many women are sitting out here now holding up their victory because you're holding on to bitterness. You're sabotaging your own success. Nobody else is messing you up. What is messing you up is the bitterness that is within you. And so that's why I recommend that you wake up every day and let yourself know that it's okay to be okay. So as I told the person that asked me that, I'm always going to stand on it because I'm empowering me. And I hope that you empower yourself I recognize I will not let bitterness, I will not let my situation determine whether I will smile today. I don't let my situation determine whether I'm going to laugh. I don't let my situation determine, or people determine, whether or not I'm free to dream and free to envision more than where I'm at. You've got to not allow anything else to stop you from living. Christ said, I've come to give you life, and I come to give you that life more abundantly. I am determined to empower myself every day to live this life to the fullest. So yes, I promise you, it's okay to be okay. Thank you for taking the time to join me for the message. And if you would like to receive a copy or order a copy of Saturday Morning Sisterhood, please visit the website at normawatson.org to place your order. If you read the book and you know that it's been a blessing, you can also sow a seed into purchasing a book for a sister or queen that is unable to purchase a copy, but you know that it will be empowering. Thank you, and again, it's okay to be okay.